Do you guys want to nerd out on tarot? Because I do, and this is where I come alive. Help me ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. How is everybody doing today? It's the start of a week, but oh, I've got beetroot on my fingers. You'll have to excuse that. I've just been chopping a salad for my tea tonight, so I've been slicing some beetroot. Now, if you're in the States, that's beets. We call it beetroot here. Yeah, so excused my beetroot stained fingers, which is going to be really annoying. I need to pause and come back. Okay, well that will have to do. Yeah, they're more or less gone. I just couldn't live with it. I'd have been distracted by my beetroot red fingers instead of focusing on what I want to talk about today. So, do you guys want to nerd out on tarot? Because I do, and this is where I come alive. I really do. So today, obviously it's the first day of my holiday. So I've been into Derbyshire, I visited my sister. I took my stepmom, who I've not seen for a couple of years, over to see my sister, and we called in at the fabulous Curious Goods. And I've mentioned that shop before. They're in Chesterfield. The owner of the shop is the person behind the tarot deck Oracle X, tarot deck, Oracle X. So I went in, I bought a couple of bits, some incense, some crystals, but I actually came out with 3 decks. So the first one is Tarot New Ages. New Ages or New Ages. I mean, I read that because, you know, the whole New Age, but I think it's New Ages. But I think I'll just call it Tarot New Ages. And Chris over at Elemental Cartomancy sent me a link about this, saying, I think this deck is right up your street. It seems very Deviant Moonish. So I saw that in there, so I picked that up. He who's not buying any more Oracle decks saw this one, which is Lakshmi Oracle. And at first I was like, oh, well, I've got Kali Oracle. So I don't really need it. But then when I turned over, it has all of the Hindu deities. So it's it's put here that it's overseen, Hindu deities overseen by Lakshmi. So I thought, well, that'd be nice, because I love anything that, you know, has the Hindu pantheon of deities. So I thought I'd give that a go. And then I was about to walk away and I saw Druidcraft. And you're probably thinking, what? You've got Druidcraft. In fact, you've got 2 versions of Druidcraft, Simon. But a few weeks ago, I was chatting to my friend, Conrad Stain, who is the person behind the CS Tarot, amongst other decks, like Pam's Old Deck, etc. And he saw my video where I was talking about the 2 versions that I had. So this one, which I had trimmed on 3 sides. Well, actually, I trimmed it on 4, but I left the panels on. And then this one that I traded with my friend Elaine in Scotland, which it's naked. It's had all of the borders and titles taken off. But then I noticed a huge difference in colour. So can you see here? Let's bring it up so you get a better view. The skin tone is very skin tone. Whereas here, it's got like this green filter over it. And it's the same with all of the cards. This is more true to life. It's more colourful, fleshy. It's matte, so is this one. And then I have seen a few people on their channels holding up a deck where the cards seem a little bit shiny, but in full colour. So Conrad said to me, there's another version. Now, I've been doing a bit of research. I think this one is St. Michael's Press and this one is Connections. Now, I don't have the original St. Michael's Press box anymore to double check, because when I traded the full size untrimmed one for this one, it went in that box. But this one is the one that says Edison Books. But I believe that's part of Connections, because the Connections one also has this pull-out guide. So, and I did a live once about the confusion over Druidcraft, because it's one of my all-time favourite decks. If you've seen my top 10 tarot decks of all time, Druidcraft is in there. I absolutely adore this deck. But it's very confusing because of all the different ones. So there's St. Michael's Press, there's Connections, there's this one which says Edison Books, but I'm pretty sure I seem to remember. In fact, if we have a look in the book, it may tell you in the beginning was a world. No, it just says Edison Books. So this is Edison Books. But I seem to remember having Connections. But I had one as well. This is actually, the one I bought today is my 4th copy, because I had one that was one of the first decks I ever trimmed when I was at Kelly Bears for the first time. We edged and trimmed and backed it, and I actually traded that one. So I believe that was Connections, St. Michael's Press, Edison Books. Okay. So I was talking about these two on a live or a video, and then Conrad said there is another version out by a company called O. Now, I need to take the sticker off the back. It wasn't that expensive, $17.99, which isn't bad at all. But do you see here, O is the publishing company, and it's back in the smaller box rather than the large size, which I don't mind at all, because the reason why I bought this one, because my first one was in the smaller box, was because I wanted the full size book, because there's so much more information in this. So that's why I got the Edison Books one. Anyway, what Conrad said was that this one was the best version he'd seen out of the 3 different versions. So I'm just going to bring the camera down a little bit so we can have a closer look as well, because I want you to see the colour variations. He said it's luminous, it's bright. I think the only thing that put me off was the fact that it may be on glossy cardstock, or that might just be how it looked on camera. But I've always said that because I love this deck so much, I kind of wished I'd got an untouched one. Now, I really loved what Elaine had done with this, so I was happy to trade my other untrimmed one for this. But then I kind of missed having one, you know, that hadn't been modified in any way. I love these. I think I probably used this one the most, just because when I realised the colour difference between these two, it really did start to irk me a little bit. I mean, look at the tree. The tree is green in this card, just like the man's flesh. But here it's a proper bark colour. It's really, really nice. So let's bring the camera down. Oh my gosh. I've just recorded for like, or I thought I was recording for like 10 minutes. And when I brought the camera down and I thought I'd press record, I hadn't. I only realised when I went to do the flip through. So you've missed me unboxing the box and talking about the box, the difference in the books, the difference between the cards. Oh dear, I kind of thought I'll just give up. Just don't bother recording it. It's not meant to be, but I kind of want to do it anyway. So I will try and rewind and go back to where I was. So what I did say about the box is, having taken the plastic off, it has a lovely, lovely matte feel. I don't mind having this compressed size because I have the full size. The reason why I wanted that, because I started with this one, the full size, was because I wanted the book, and the book is great. I won't use this book. This is an 80-page book. You do get a full page for the majors, and then the minors you get kind of 4 cards over this double page spread. And it's okay, you know, it's okay as a guidebook, but I really like the big book. As we know, the creators are Philip and Stephanie Cargon, and the illustrations is by Will Worthington, who, you know, can't do no wrong as an artist. Love Will Worthington. Yes, so, and then I unwrapped it, but what I am glad about is I used my teeth to take the cellophane off, and I was like, oh, you all know what I'm doing. But I've been spared that. So one of the main differences with this version, just kind of give it away, these are glossy, which feels really strange to have a Druidcraft deck that are glossy. This one, which if you remember, I believe is the St. Michael's Press edition, has a silky finish. It's matte, but it has a silky finish. Whereas this one, which is the Edison Books, is really, as you can hear, really matte. So it's quite nice to have this version. I don't normally go for glossy cards, but you know, I like it. It's nice because they're all kind of doing their own thing. Obviously, there's a big size difference. So when I took off the borders on, I took a little bit off the bottom. You can see here the white bit's gone, so it kind of fits in there. But I didn't realise how much of the image I've lost, unless they've blown up a bit, because look, there's quite a chunk missing. So you see the size difference here for what I did. It's completely narrow. Now this is more or less a standard tarot size. It's just a little bit taller still. So as you can see here, it's the same width on both sides as a standard tarot deck, but still a little bit taller. Whereas this one is shorter still. I mean, you can really see the colour difference there, can't you? Shorter still, and when compared to this size. So these are really large cards, and most people who have Druidcraft do some sort of modification because they're quite cumbersome to handle. I tend to use this one more than anything because I know, I mean, it follows an RWS system anyway, to a degree. I mean, it is an RWS system, but they have Lord and Lady in the majors instead of, you know, Emperor and Empress, which is, you know, more in keeping with a pagan tradition. So you'll see here we've got the Magician, High Priestess, and then you've got the Lady for the Empress, but still very Empress-like. And then you have the Lord for the Emperor. He's fantastic, isn't he? And also, when you get to the courts, you have, rather than page and knight, you have prince and princess. So you have a royal family. rather than a royal court. So you have prince, princess, queen and king. So let's take a look at the Hanged Man. I'm saying this like it's the first time, not that I've just done it 10 minutes ago, because I was really surprised because it's different again. So here we have very natural colours, okay? This one is like having a green filter over the top, but this one is actually somewhere in between. So you can see it's still got a greeny, look at the bark, it's still got a greeny tint to it, and the flesh also, but not so much as the one by Edison Books. Do you see the difference? And what I said when I thought I was recording is look at the face. I think the face kind of shows you the 3 stages. It's like the Incredible Hulk. Do you remember the Incredible Hulk? David Banner changing into the Hulk, becomes the Hulk. Oh, sorry, that tickling me. I don't know why. So yeah, so that's kind of the 3 stages of it. But I'm okay with that. I still think this one, St. Michael's Press, is the most natural, you know, when it comes, the colours are vibrant, it's not glossy. I mean, look how rich. Really, really beautiful. This one I love because it was one of my first trim jobs. Again, there is kind of a green filter, not on all of the cards, but on a lot of the cards. But you know, I could live with it. And then we have this one, which is going to be my, look how big they are. This is going to be my untrimmed version. Untrimmed, untouched. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So that's kind of the difference. So the only addition I don't have anymore is the connections one. So I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Because there's so many decks that we really like and then suddenly go out of print. Whereas this one has been going for coming up to 20 years. I think, or was there one previous to that? I know 2005. Let's just have a quick look. So no 2005. Right, so Druidcraft publishers. Bear with. Okay, so on here it lists the editions, and we've got, it goes back to 2004, and we have Connections Book Publishing, St. Martin's Press, and then we have, oh, that's an overseas one for a different language, Edison Books, and then we now have the O, which is the one here. So I think if you're buying the Druidcraft today, this is the version that you're going to get, which is a glossy version. It is quite springy, but you know, you can go on eBay if you wanted different editions. So yeah, okay. If you are watching this video and you've never seen the Druidcraft before, then we will have a flip through. If you've seen this deck, you've got this deck, you know it inside and out, you might want to stop watching at this point, but it will just be nice. And because I want to see the cards as well in this kind of version. So yeah, enjoy the flip through. You know, every time I see this deck, I fall in love with it a little bit more. It's just incredible. You know, I said at the beginning, this is in my top 10 all-time favourite decks. I think it's probably in my top 5. It's one of those that I know I love. I absolutely love it. The artwork is exquisite. It's pagan. It's earthy. It's everything I love in a deck. But then, you know, it'll go on the shelf. I mean, this version is on my desk all the time. But, you know, I buy decks and I work with decks, and it's when I pick it up again and go through these images. I mean, look at that for death. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, when I said Lord and Lady had changed, there's also Rebirth instead of Judgment and Kanunos instead of the Devil. But look at that for a death card. It is epic. I love this card. We've got the Glastonbury Tour, and the rainbow going down to the Chalice well. It's gorgeous. There's Kanunos that I mentioned in the Devil card. They finished what they was doing in our Lovers card, if we ever get to it. Looking on by a different being. Epic tower, beautiful. I mean, that could be a work of art on your wall, couldn't it? It's just, I just love it. So thank you for allowing me to geek out with you today. I really, really appreciated it. Let me know your thoughts. Which version do you have? How do you find working with it? Etc, etc. Leave all your comments below. I'll try and respond. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.